Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. I'm Richard, at Richard on the MakeCode forum.
Hi, I'm Jasmine at JXWoon on the MakeCode forums.
And I'm Joe at JWonderl on the MakeCode forums.
And you probably already noticed, but this is once again a Richard stream, so I apologize for that. But we're going to do our best, without Vivian running the show. Jasmine, did you see our stream yesterday? Do you know what game we're working on?
I didn't see it, but I heard we're working on some sort of Zelda game.
Yeah. So we got a little mouse here. We can walk between, and we're using a tile set I made a long time ago. That I made for like a Zelda game, but never did anything with. So today I think what we're going to work on is we're going to work on sword stuff. And I said I would do a bunch of tile maps before the stream, but I had to make a difficult choice today, which was, do I eat lunch or do I make a bunch of tile maps? And so I ate lunch. I'm sorry, everybody. But I did throw together a few just to show how the tile set gets used. So first off, we have this one. It's a wizard house. Right? Classic wizard house.
Yeah, it looks like there's like a mustache for the windows.
He has a fancy mustache, and the windows are eyes.
They're not just eye bags. Like he hasn't slept enough when he was getting his portrait taken for this.
He's a distinguished magician. Okay. All right, and then we have this interior one. So this is kind of showing how this one works. So this is for like the inside of a dungeon. So it's kind of like our ones that we had for the dungeon category, but I made this before the dungeon category existed. And maybe one day I'll just go copy all of the dungeon ones because they look so much better than mine do. And then let's see. Okay, I made this house a little bit fancier. I gave it a tree, a fence, a path and stuff. And then I did one more, or two more actually. So this one, which is like a mountain area with a path that's going downwards. You see a lot of these in Zelda. And then I have a continuation of that one, which is like going out over water. So they're coming down, and then there's like water on the other side. But I haven't actually put this into the game yet. So let's go back over to our game. All right, so I'm not going to put these tile maps in just yet because I do want to get started with our characters and doing our sword stuff. So we're gonna. Oh, the other thing I forgot to do was put in Dobix's awesome sprite. I'm sorry, Dobix. It'll be in the game. But I think we're gonna start with. Let's see. Should we do the frog bunny, or should we do the snack first?
Jasmine, I think it's your one-star opportunity.
Oh, I think the frog bunny, interesting animal, Gotta let it shine.
All right, we're gonna do a frog bunny. So we're gonna make this frog bunny into an octorok. Do frog bunnies spit stones?
Maybe they throw stones.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna take this guy, and we're going to add some stuff for it so that we have something to hit with our sword. So before we do that, though, we're gonna go into our tile maps. We're gonna go into my tiles. We're gonna make a new one. And this is going to be for spawning our bunny. Whoops, I forgot to copy the sprite. Yeah, all right, so this is going to be our bunny tile. And we're going to be putting this into our tile maps to mark where we want the bunnies to spawn. But the user should never see this. We're going to cover it up. Let's get started with this, though. So this is our little starting location, which means it's going to be a good one for us to test. So I'm just going to put like 2 bunnies in here. I'll put like one here and one here. And when our game refreshes, we should see that happening. There we go. Bunnies. Okay. So now we want to handle the actual spawning of these guys. So we're going to go into tile maps, and one thing we're not using yet is this on tile map loaded event, which is one of the nicest features of the tile maps extension. So whenever we load one of these tile maps, this code, whatever we put in here, will run. And that means that we can use it to spawn all of the sprites.
Didn't we say that we weren't going to use this because we had to do the wall thing?
Sorry, Joey's right.
So normally that's how you would do it, but right now we had to do some special stuff, and so we're working around it.
Yeah, so we're going to make a function, which is going to be called onTileMapLoaded. We're going to put this right here, and we're going to call this function, and this is what we're going to use for the same purpose. But we're doing some special stuff to load tile maps. We talked about this last time, but there's a problem in our game where if we, so you see there's a wall up here on this tile map, but over here there isn't a wall. And so we do some special stuff to make it so that you can't go over here because you would be inside the wall. And what we do is we actually load the map, check if it's a wall, and then go back to the other map. And so we can't do stuff in that onTileMapLoaded event because it'll get loaded for a second and then come back. You don't actually see it happen because it doesn't, it all happens like in one frame. Yeah, so we're going to instead do our own little custom thing, and we will call it here. So we call this try-load map at location whenever we're loading a map. And if we get into this if statement, that means we are going to go back. So if we're outside this if statement, that means that we have successfully loaded the new map. And that's where we want to call this function we just made. So onTileMapLoaded. Now we're going to go over here. And it's kind of a bummer, though, because like I always look for the color of the TileMapLoaded event. You know, it makes it so easy to find it in my workspace.
Too bad.
Too bad. Oh, we should add for the tile map extension, you should be able to like take in a tile map and check stuff on it.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put that on the. I'll put that in my brain backlog. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, we can think about it. Okay. So we're going to loop over all of these locations for our bunny tiles. And for each of these locations, we want to cover it up first. So we're going to, I guess we don't need to do it inside of this loop. We can do it right here. We're going to cover all of our bunny tiles with just like, we'll do the grass tile. That's the grass tile. Grass tile. Oh, right. This doesn't get called for the first tile map. For the first one. Oh, is this a quarter?
We can count it as a quarter. I mean, I think usually we've been using it as like, you haven't called it ever in your code, right? You haven't called this function ever. And so when you when there's a missing place, it hasn't been a quarter, but this is the first time it would be called. So
look, I don't want Vivian coming in and being like, you owed a quarter last week, Richard. Why didn't you put the quarter in? So let's just call it a quarter.
We do. The last two messages in chat were quarter in all caps and then quarter in all caps with 3 exclamation marks. So
okay, it's a quarter. Mark it, Joey.
I did.
All right. So now that we have looped over all of our locations and I have paid my quarter, we're going to spawn our frog bunny. So I'm going to make a new variable, which is going to be, it's just we call like new enemy because we're probably going to have more than one type of enemy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know how to spell enemy, but I don't know how to spell new. There we go. Sometimes typing is hard, folks. All right, we're going to make this frog bunny for the kind. And we want to place them on top of this location. So let's go into scene. We'll do the place on top of a specific location, change this to be new enemy, and then put the value, which is our location, right in here. And now we should have our frog bunnies in the right location. Hooray. Okay, so let's talk about what these enemies are going to do. So the behavior I want for these guys, which is coming from Zelda to a certain extent, like entirely. Oh, right. We're not despawning them right now. We'll do that in a second. Is I want them to just like occasionally move one space. And like a little while later, they'll move one space. And that's basically all they do. So to do that, there's a few ways we could do that. I think the easiest is going to be using an animation. We could also use the story extension. The problem with the story extension is that one blocks. And so we would probably have to do all of them in like a separate thread. And I don't want to do that. So instead, we're just going to do using the animation blocks to make them move. To do that, we're going to make a forever loop. And this forever loop is just going to be where we're going to handle all of our, actually, we'll do an on-game update interval. It makes more sense. We'll do an on-game update interval. And inside here, we're going to loop over all of our frog bunnies and make them move one space. All right. So we're going to go into loops, get another for of loop. We're going to go into sprites. We're going to get array of all sprites of kind. Change this to be frog bunny. And now we want to make all of them animate in a random direction. So we have 4 directions that they can go, right? Up, down, left, or right. And we're going to have to do some stuff to make sure that they can go in those directions. But for now, we're just going to do up, down, left, right. So to do that, we are going to make sure that we have like a 1 in 4 chance of it happening. And the easiest way to do things that are like more than 1 in 4, you might be tempted to use the % chance blocks for this, but that's actually going to be pretty tough. We're going to use pick random, and we're going to set this between 0 and 3. So that means it can be 0, 1, 2, or 3, which is 4. 4 different options. All right. So we're going to make a variable. We're going to call it random number. Because I am expecting that this is not the last time we're going to have to pick random numbers in this program. Okay, so we're going to pick a random number. We're just going to do a bunch of equals to see what the random number was. And then depending on what it was, we're going to do a different direction for each. And I always like to do directions in like the compass order. So, or at least the order I do the compass in. I guess it's not really compass order. Starting at north, going clockwise. North, east, south, west. So we're going to do it like that. Okay. So to do the actual animation, let's go in. We're going to use the path animation, and we're going to do it with a string. The nice thing about this is that this is actually a really simple animation to do. So we're going to, with our thing, we want to move either vertically or horizontally. And so we're going to do vertical because we're going up for this one. So we're going to do a V and a space. Make sure you put in the space. You need the space. I think that once I eventually go in and do an overhaul of this, I will make it so you don't need the space just to make this easier. But for now, you need the space. And then here you want to put in the number. Actually, you know what? We don't even need to put in numbers. What am I doing? We can just like literally just put in a string. Why am I doing a join? All right. So we're just going to do V -16. And we're going to set this to be every 1 second. Or the duration's going to be 1 second. Okay, so for this one, we're moving right. So we want to move horizontal, H and 16. For the next one, we are moving down. So we're going to do V and 16. And for the last one, we are moving to the left, which is going to be H and -16. One other thing I didn't mention, make sure that you're using lowercase v and lowercase h for this. That's important because a capital V or a capital H means that you want to go to a specific location as opposed to a relative one. So
It's
when I
like
put in
change by versus set in the X.
exactly. So if I were to put capital H16, that would mean go to the 16 pixel thing. So even if it's over here, it would go to wherever x equals 16. But lowercase h means go 16 to the right, which is what we want.
Should it maybe be like half a second so it sits in each spot for?
I'm going to make the game
or just double
update.
time?
Yeah, I'm going to make the game update slower. Okay, so you probably saw our guys moving around. There they are. They're moving, 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 moving. Come on, why don't you guys move somewhere you're not supposed to? There we go. Okay. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now they're going out of the range. So right now we are not checking to make sure that they are moving to a valid location. And because the animation ignores walls, they're just going to go right into those walls. No problem. So what we want to do is we want to actually make sure that they like obey the laws of our world and check to see if the location is a wall or not. And if it is, they should not move in that direction. So to do that, we're going to be using some blocks from the timeout extension. And let's start with defining what our conditions are. So when can we move left, Jasmine?
You can move left. There's no walls, or if you're not going to be out of screen.
Exactly. Yes, those are the two cases I was looking for. Gold star for Jasmine.
Ooh, does it gold star?
Gold star.
Wow, my first gold star. It's honor.
You got sparkle, star with sparkles, sparkle, asteroid, sparkle, star. Just so you know.
That's a good one. All right, so yeah, so we want to make sure that we're not hitting a wall and we're not going off the screen. So that means we want to make sure that the tile that we're moving to, its column is at least 1. We don't want to go into, well, no, sorry, is at least 0. Sorry, we're 0 index. We're programmers. And 2, we want to make sure that it's not a wall. Actually, I just thought of a third case, which is we also want to make sure that there isn't another one there.
Oh, that's a good point.
But we'll worry about that later. That one's going to be harder, so we might not do that today. I don't know. I want to
Maybe
do
they can be friends. They just want to hug for a second, and then they can move on.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. All right. So let's start. We're going to bring out an if, and inside of here, we're going to check those two conditions. So the first one is we want to get the column of our row. So we're going to go, and luckily we have this nice little location column block, but we need the location of our sprite. Well, oh man, we're just so lucky today because there is a block to get the location of a sprite.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, so we want to make sure this is greater than or equal to, well, actually, we want to make sure that the location of their current column is greater than 0. Because if they're in 0, they shouldn't move left. Okay, we're also going to get an and. And then the other thing we want to check is that the location to the left of them is not a wall. And so TileMaps extension has a really nice way of getting this. So there is this location left of, then you can pass in another location. So if we pass in the location left of location of value, then we have now gotten the tile to the left, and we can check to see if it's a wall or not. So that's in the TileMaps extension. There is a check to see if it's a wall. And then finally, we want to put this inside of a not, because we only want to go if it's not a wall. Whoops, get back in there. All right, let's put this in here, put this in here, and there we go. That block didn't end up being as long as I thought it would be.
Nice.
I thought it was going to be a long block. Wait, did I just see him move off screen? Don't do it.
Rude.
Sorry, I did this for the up condition. This one's the left condition.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry, Frog Bunny. That one's on me. Okay, so let's duplicate this. The easy one to do is we're now going to do this for the up. So let me go ahead and put this in here. Get rid of this. We want to change this to be row because we're doing vertical stuff now. And we want to change this to be top. And we're done. We've done up. Now we're going to have to do something special for right and down, because those ones we have to take into account how big the tile map is. All right. So for this one, we want to make sure that our the tile map's column is less than whatever the last column is. So I could use, inside of tile maps, there is a number of columns in the tile map, and I could do a -1, but I don't want to have a super long block. And I already made the promise that all of our tile maps would only be 10 by 8. So I can just put in the value that it should be. So I want to make sure that it is less than 7, 9, 9, less than 9. Yep. And then we want to change this to be the tile to the right. All right, one more, and then we can watch these guys just walk around for a while. This one should be 7. This one should be bottom. And yeah, look at that.
If we could speed it up to like on-game update every 100 milliseconds and every 50 seconds move just to see super speed.
Okay, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a variable which is going to be called. Sorry, almost made a dreadful mistake. Frog bunny interval. We're going to set this right here to be 100. We're going to get our frog bunny interval. And I think
it should work
okay.
here.
Yes.
It should work here, but just so we know, just so everybody knows, usually you can't put variables into the functions because lots of the events are registered before anything in onStart happens. But in this case, on-game update is registered after, so it starts after onStart. So this should be fine.
Yeah, yeah. I'm using my advanced arcade knowledge on this one. Okay, so hurry up. Let me finish this before it starts because I want to see them. There we go.
So happy.
Let them go. Yeah. Okay, so maybe for the bottom, we should actually make it less than 6 because even though our tile map is 10 by 8, we have one tile that's half cut off because 16 doesn't go evenly into 120. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that real quick. We're going to go into our case right here. We're just going to change the 7 into a 6, and then that should be fixed. All right, and let's make them slow again. Now this just seems super slow.
It is. It does feel pretty slow.
That's good. That's
but
good.
I mean, yeah, as part of the like other half a second, right? It'll be shooting something. It'll be firing off a explosive or something, right? So, or a stone.
Yeah, we're gonna do that
So it won't
later.
feel
Though,
slow then.
I want to do sword stuff now.
Yeah.
All right, sword stuff. So there's 2 types of things that we need to do here, which is we want to do damage against us and damage against the enemy. I said we're doing swords today, so we're going to do the enemy first, but then we'll do damage against us. And what we want to do is when the enemy gets hit, we need to make a decision. Do we want them to be knocked in a direction, which we could do, or do we want them to just stay where they are? In any case, they're probably going to turn invincible for a little bit. The only problem with knocking them in a direction is that we need to make sure that they stay on the grid because of how we've done the movement. And that's not a huge deal. We could make it so that just, we figure out which direction is the best and then move them in that direction. It's not that bad. But
we could make it, just extract that whole move that block we just wrote into a function and just have that be like move in X direction.
That's not a bad idea. Let's do that.
Because that will be helpful.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to make, let's go ahead and make a new function. Called move in direction. It's going to take in two things. It's going to take in a number, which is going to be direction, and it's going to take in another number, which is going to be time. And the reason I'm doing this is because right now we're only using this for the frog bunnies, but maybe in the future we'll use it for other stuff too. Or maybe
Also
even we just want to make it so that like our oh yeah, it should also take a sprite. Good call. But in the future we might use it to move other things, or maybe when we're taking damage, we want them to move faster than when they're walking around. Probably do. So we're gonna do it this way. So let's go ahead. We'll take this, we'll put it in here, and now we're gonna have to swap some variables around. Oh man, a lot of variables. Okay, sprite. My Teams thing's in the way. Right. 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 Right.
A lot of names.
Right. Yeah. We still have to do all the numbers and times after this.
Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Yeah, I need 3 of these. Cool. All right, we'll do the times. Go away. Go away. Joey, I really have to blame you for this. You should have come up with this idea sooner.
Yeah. Too bad.
Okay, and then our last one is our direction. So we're going to put this here, here.
For a future thing, just so we're cognizant of it, we might end up wanting to make it so it's something like instead of H16, it's H difference to next tile. But we can do that later. So that if they're no longer, if they're like halfway through a move, you want them to make sure that they're center aligned to the tile again, probably.
That's true.
But we can do that later.
Yeah, all right. I'm just being neat and tidy and cleaning up all these variables I just popped out. Almost done. All right, and 1/4 was enough for today. We're going to pass in our direction. We're going to pass in our time, which is going to be the frog bunny interval divided by 2. And we're going to pass in our sprite. All right, we should be back to where we were. There you go, cool. All right, that was refactoring. If you ever hear us say refactor, it just means taking the code and putting it in a different way, but doing the same thing so that it's more convenient later. That was a pretty good explanation of refactoring. I thought that was going to be more complicated. All right, so now we're going to do the sword. So the first thing that you want to do with swords is you want to do animations. And so I've written this demo a few times on the like forum, but the way I like to do it is I like to have a separate sprite for the sword. So actually 2 sprites. So we'll do that. We're going to go into our on start, and we're going to make 2 sprites now. One of them is going to be sword, right? The other one is going to be sword collider. And we're doing this, actually, I don't need to do this anymore, do I? No, I think Joey's fancy ghost flags have made it so I no longer need to have 2 sprites. Yay.
What's the second flag for? Or second sprite for?
So I used to have a collider and a visual one. The collider one would react to walls and it was not ghost.
Oh,
the other one was ghost, so that it displayed right, even though.
Yeah, but now you just need the no walls flag in general. Okay.
Yep. Cool. All right. So what I was saying there is we want to make sure that our sword can go through walls, but we want it to still overlap with sprites. It used to be that we just had a ghost flag, and that made it so that it didn't overlap with walls or sprites. But we don't need to do that anymore. Now we can do our sword sprite, and we can just do ghost through tiles, not tiles, ghost through walls, which is what we want. All right. So now we've got our sword sprite. It doesn't actually have anything in it, so we can't see it. But we need to position it. So the way we're going to do that is just like how we normally position stuff. We're going to do an on-game update. And we need to keep track now of what direction we're facing. So I'm going to make a new variable. We're going to call it facing direction. And I'm also going to go into our sprite, and I'm not going to do a sword just yet. I'm just going to do a pink square. You can see it going. Okay. And now we're going to go over our 4 directions. This is like the fun thing of doing like a Zelda type game is there's a lot of code you have to multiply by 4.
Yeah. And a lot of art you have to multiply by 4. Well,
Yes.
by 2 usually, but by 4 basically.
Yeah, you can get away with doing by 2, which is normally what I do, because you can just do facing right and facing left and it looks okay. All right, so we've got our facing direction 0, 1, 2, and this one's going to be 3. And we want to position our sword based off that. So if it is to the right, we want to set it to so that it is 16 pixels to the right of our mouse. So we're going to go and get a set position. And we're going to set the position of our sword sprite. Sorry, this is up. I keep doing this.
I forget, is this one that you can use the like facing in the character animations? Does that work?
It only works if I have animations for it, which I don't right now.
Okay.
Maybe in the future. Okay, so we're going to set our position to be above because 0 is going to be north. So we wanted to set it to be the X of our sprite, so our hero. And we want to set the Y to be the Y minus 16. Whoops. All right, so that should be to the top. There you go. All right, so look, my sword is following me around. Because our variables start at 0, that means that this one is already happening. So let's just do this for the other ones real quick, and then we will handle the actual like making, actual sword images and making so it only shows up when we actually swing our sword. So let's see. This one is right, so we want to do X plus 16 and then just Y. Now let's duplicate this one, and we'll do the minus 16 for X, and then we duplicate this one, and we do the plus 16 for the Y. And I'm expecting this code to run despite the fact that I just haven't written any code to do the facing yet. So let's do that. Okay, so direction facing code. What's the easiest way to do this, huh? You know what? I'm just gonna do my character animations extension. It makes this so much easier.
A trivial animation on it.
Oh no. How did I type the wrong thing for my own extension? How much in the lead am I now?
No,
Is
you're
that a
tied.
quarter?
Yeah, it is a quarter.
It's a quarter.
You're tied now.
Okay. Well, I feel good about that at least. Vivian was like scared that I would just be like way behind her forever, and I have really narrowed the gap recently. Okay, so we're going to go into our on start, and we're going to define animations for our facing right and moving and everything. So we're not actually going to do anything fancy right now. We're just going to copy our image. So I'm going to copy that. We will make it so that it's facing left when it's facing left, though. Okay, so facing right and moving, we're going to do this one. Change this to be where are you, hero? There you are. Okay, now we're going to do facing left. We're going to set this flip. We're going to do facing up.
I guess
now.
one option for facing up would be to just rotate it by one.
You want to do this?
Yeah. Until we get real art.
All right. Oh, oops, I'm moving up. This should be facing up. Okay. And then for this one, we want to do facing down and moving to like that. So now we can see our mouse do somersaults. I don't hate it as much as I thought I would.
It's okay. Nice until we get something good. Yeah.
All right. So now that we have this, we can get rid of this facing direction stuff. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And we can now, inside of our character animations, we can just do this nice little check. We can say, are we facing up? We're going to change this to be hero. Change this one to be facing right. This one to be facing down. And then the last one is the last one. All right. So look at that.
And this one properly handles it when you're like holding left and then you switch to up first. You press up as well, and then you let go of up.
Yes, you stay if you are holding right and you press up. I think that up takes priority. It's at least consistent in what it does.
Yeah. You won't be like facing upwards while still only moving to the left, which is the good thing.
Yeah. No, it handles all that. All right. Cool. We have something weird just happened with our tile maps, but I'm not going to worry about it because it's not what we're working on right now. I think I like flipped over here for a second and came back. Yep.
Did we forget
I know what happens.
Delete all of the bunnies?
Yeah, but the other thing is I'm covering the tiles, but I'm not covering the tile. The covered tiles get cleared when I do load another tile map. So when I move over here to test this out, the tiles come back. We'll fix it later. Look how many friends I have. All right. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the sword stuff. So we're going to go ahead and change this back to a transparent one now that we know it's in the right direction. And we want to handle now an on A button pressed, which we're going to use to trigger our sword. So to do that, let's go into our, not arrays, controller. I was just, I guess, going based off color there. And I'm going to use on A button press because it's the easiest one for me to press while using the keyboard because I just have my thumb on the space bar. But normally I would put a sword on B if I was doing physical hardware because that's the way it should be. All right, but with the on A button pressed, we want to animate our sprite. So I'm actually going to go take that if statement I had, and we're going to copy it because I want this facing up, facing right, facing left business. All right, but we want to get rid of all of this. Okay, and now we want to do an animation, which is going to be our sword swinging. So I'm not going to do facing up first. That's a hard one. We'll do facing right first. Okay, so we want to have our sword like coming out and swinging. So it's going to start up. It's going to go be like halfway, and then it's going to be down. So to do that, let's go ahead and just do a nice little hilt first. Have the sword come up. I don't know, how fancy am I feeling with swords today, guys? I think I just want a simple one. Yeah, all right, we'll just do a simple one.
Good.
All right. So let's move this down a bit. Not that far down. There we go. And we want to, for our next tile, we're going to do a little bit of whooshing, because you want to do whooshing with a sword in pixel art. And it's something that initially seems really complicated, but it's not that bad once you start doing it. So we're going to duplicate this. And actually, we're not going to duplicate it. We're just going to erase this and turn on onion skinning. Nice.
We never end up using this, but it's always so nice when we do.
It's extremely nice for like sword things specifically. It's so nice for sword things. Okay, so we're gonna do this so that we can make sure that we're pivoting at the right spot. And now we've got our sword coming out diagonally. I think I made it a little too long. And we're going to do the outline like we did before, but a little bit differently. And I know this sword looks very jagged right now, but you're only going to see it for like a split second, so it's going to be okay. Don't worry, it's going to be okay. Okay, so you might notice I'm only putting the outlines on one side, and that's because this is where I'm going to be doing my whoosh, and I'm going to be using our secondary color to do that. So what you want to do is you want to basically do something that looks like it's like blurring down. So Shannon's really good at doing this. I'm not as good. So we're going to make it so that, see, I forget, should it be longer on top? I think it should be longer on top and then like shorter down at the bottom.
That makes sense because the top is moving further over the same period of time, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be moving like faster.
Yeah. Okay, so that looks okay. And we're going to go ahead and put our outline around this.
Ooh.
Okay. Now we're going to do our I need to move this Teams thing again. Go over there. Okay, so now we're going to do our next one. So let's do another blank one. We'll leave onion skinning on. Now it's going to be completely horizontal. So we'll take this white and just do our same sword as before, but this time horizontal. We're going to do, like before, the conditional outline. So, I made this a little bit too far over. Oh, and I think I need to make this like 1 pixel longer. There we go. All right, and we want to keep our swoosh going. So it's going to like arc on down here. Let me get rid of the onion skinning now. We don't need it anymore. Make it a little bit more like severe. That was good. And then we're going to do our outline again. And then the last frame, well, second to last frame, is just going to be without the swoosh at all in the final position. And then the last frame is going to be blank because we want our sprite to return to being a transparent tile. So let's go ahead. We're going to duplicate this tile. We're going to get rid of all of this swoosh. Do that. And then finally, we're going to do, just a blank tile for the end. So let's set this to be really fast. So like 50. And then, yeah, that's a sword.
Nice, snappy.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
The blur is a little bit too much on this one. I don't want to spend more time on this, but I would make it a little bit shorter so that it's not going all the way to the back. It's actually going farther back than the last blur, which is no good. But yeah, I tend to be finicky with
You
this.
fix it in post.
Yeah, if you want to see a really good example of this, go watch our Koala Flies by Night stream that Shannon and I did a while ago while everyone else was out. She did a really good job with like this bamboo stick blur. All right, that looks a little bit better. Okay. So you want the interval to be fast so it's nice and snappy. Let's make sure we change this to be our sword sprite. And let's go ahead and just, see this go. Perfect. Yeah, I think that looks good. The sword in like Link's Awakening and Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, which I've said before is like what I'm basing this off of, is a little bit longer. It's actually like twice as long as Link, but I'm not gonna do that. I don't feel like it. I'll probably regret it later though, because the long sword's actually nice. All right, so let's take this. We'll do the other directions just real quick. So we're going to just flip everything. Flip, flip, flip. Don't need to flip a blank tile. And then for up, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to, let's see, rotate it. So we want to like go from, you want it to be, for up, you want it to be swinging this way, which luckily we can achieve using our rotation. Okay, I messed that up.
Should the last one be?
Yeah. Oh, it should be
one more. So one more? No, flipped and then rotated one.
It should be lining up with this one. Wait, so what is going wrong here?
So this one is.
Oh, this one needs to be rotated. And this one needs to be rotated. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what Joey was saying, but I was just not hearing him correctly.
It's hard for me to describe. I couldn't think of how to like phrase it right.
Yeah, spatial reasoning, it's tough. Okay, now for this last one, we're going to do a flip, flip on all these guys. Flip, flip. Flip, flip. There we go. And let's see how this looks. Okay, that's wrong. That's fine. That's wrong. All right, let's fix those ones. Don't flip indiscriminately. Applies for real flips too. Okay, so when we're going left, okay, this one's not flipped. Yeah, I just missed one when I was flipping stuff. Okay, and then when we're facing down, let's see, we should be.
So this one
Down B should be going from the right and then swooping down. So it should be like that, and then swoop down. Yeah, okay. So it was just that time. Yeah, it was just that one. Cool. All right. One problem though, we should not be able to move while we are sword swiping. All right. Or we can move, but we need to make sure that we don't change direction. So I think we should make it move, but right now I can do this thing. That's no good. I shouldn't be able to teleport my sword. So what we're going to do for that is there's one nifty feature of the character animation extension, and that is that you can disable the character animations by setting the state explicitly. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to do the hero, and I'm going to set their state to facing up. And this will lock it to this until I go back and I clear the state, which we will do in another block in a second. So if I do this for all of our different directions, we're going to do facing right. I don't think we've done this one before on stream.
Just out of curiosity, can you just place it at the end of the A press block instead of putting it in each if statement?
No, because I need the direction.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
yeah, so for up it needs to be up, right, right, down, down, left, left.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, and now for the clear state. For that, we're going to use our old friend.
And we'd probably want to do this one anyway, just because we want to set it so that you can't. I'm assuming we want to set it so you can't slash twice like immediately. So this is helpful in that case anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Joey hinted at what I'm just about to do. Which is the other thing I want to do is I want to set a variable which is going to be called is slashing. We're going to set that to be true up here. And then, oh, whoops.
Oh.
What is happening? That was weird.
Huh. So it popped out the blocks and then that messed up the undo stack.
That's the first time I've seen that.
Somehow.
Okay, so we're going to use this after however much time do, and we're going to put in a time based on how many frames of our animation we have. So we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 frames. We're going to do it after 200 milliseconds because we're running at 50 frames, 15 milliseconds per frame. So when that happens, we want to take our hero, we want to clear state, which will say, go back to your normal state tracking thing. And we're also going to set our variable to be false. So we're going to set is slashing to be false. And finally, we want to actually use our is slashing variable. So we're going to, inside of this on E button pressed, we're going to put everything inside of an if statement. And we're going to say, only run this if not is slashing. All right. Now I can walk around. I can slash. But I cannot change direction while the sword is out. So you see, it's not doing that teleporting thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it does look like it's occasionally getting to a state where it's not showing the right animation.
Is it like you stop, like while the state is moving, you stop moving while going facing the other way or something?
Like if I stop moving, it thinks I'm facing left. Oh, no, I know what it is. It's because we're clearing the state.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't get the last state over again or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're actually going to do is we're not going to do this set state, clear state business anymore. We're going to do it the other way. Not quite as good, but it works fine. And we're going to go into this. We're going to do, I think we should be fine if we do this enable character animations. We'll see if this works.
Let's see. And this one can just be, we can just have one of these ones, right? This can just be outside.
Oh, right.
This one should work. Yeah, because you're going to be stopping it while it's facing right, and it's going to be stuck facing right until it's done. Nope.
No, it is working better than before.
Oh, it's just not getting the animations back up.
Yeah. I think it's just the interval with the animations.
Mm-hmm.
I think the interval's super short. There's nothing in this animation. We get one.
Yeah, and this should be fine because it's just setting the image to itself, so it won't actually do anything.
It's still weird sometimes. I'm not going to worry about it. We got our sword and it's slashing around, and it's working decently okay.
Yeah, eventually we should think of something for the character animations to do this easier, but this is good for now.
Yeah, well, I think I found some bugs in this character animations thing, and I knew there were bugs in character animations. I need to go back and fix it. It's on my to-do because I want to make this an official extension, but I need to fix all the bugs first. And I think there's just a few. I just need to spend a weekend on it. Mm-hmm. But in any case, we're out of time.
Oh.
Yeah. So thank you for tuning in. There were a lot of quarters today. There was 1 gold star. And we did actually get to the sword, which I was a little worried we weren't going to get to once we started doing enemy stuff. But so tune in next week when we will hopefully make it so that we can actually like hit enemies and they can hit us, and that'll be fun. I'm Richard, at Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Jasmine, at JXSpoon on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Joey, at J1Drill on the MakeCode forum.
I don't know why they did it all weird.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Bye.